Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Today we'll be looking at the 300mm and how good it is as a sort of animal wildlife portrait lens. Now, it's not the kind of lens you'd pick up and go, yep, that's the one to want. Most people want to use something like an 85mm or 135 or something around that sort of zone with that sort of lower 1.2 to 1.8 aperture. This is obviously a 2.8. This is the Mark 1 IS. It's a very old lens now, and I'm going to show you some imagery taken on both DSLR and on mirrorless. And what we'll do afterwards, we'll talk about what I found with it, and would I recommend using this lens as a portrait lens. So let's get straight into those photos now and have a look. So the first image we're showing you here, this was taken on the 1DX Mark II, we're obviously with the 300mm. I've got the eye absolutely spot on both sides. Both eyes are nicely in focus. Nose is ever so slightly out of focus, but the chin is in focus, and this is because I'm shooting wide open at f2.8, so the nose is just about far enough out from his eyes where the focal point is to then become slightly out of focus. But as you can see, a really nice detailed photo, even shooting wide open on this lens. Now the next photo here is of a black Jaguar walking towards me here, doing a little bit of a turn. So what you can see on this one here, and this is the issue sometimes you're shooting wide open, is its right eye, or the left eye, and the right eye that we're looking at is slightly out of focus compared to his right eye or the left eye that we're looking at. And this is because his head is actually slightly turned to that side, so the focal plane, as it were, is dead on with the eye. This was taken on my R6 when I had that. It's totally in focus and locked on that eye, but because his head's slightly turned and shooting at 2.8, the other eye is actually slightly out of focus. Now you can try and bring that back a little bit in editing, but you'll never get it 100%. But overall I still think it's a very, very good photo. The detail is absolutely amazing. You can see all the rosettes and everything on his head, which is really nice to see on such a dark animal. Whiskers are nicely in focus, and so is his chin there and everything. So I think a very nice overall portrait still with this setup. And the final image here, again another Jaguar, but this is the female. Both eyes dead on focus. Luckily shooting a nice high shutter speed, so I've managed to get the tongue frozen there as well, as she's staring directly at me. Obviously thinking I'm her next meal. But this again was taken on the R6. Is the same day that I took the photo of the black Jag as well. The 300mm 2.8, super sharp. Both eyes absolutely amazing. See all the detail in there, and even just the fur and everything is just really nice. And then because it's shooting wide open at 2.8, you get that nice blur effect as we go back towards the ears, which are nicely out of focus, and then just getting more of a blur as we get further back. But really happy with this shot, captured a nice moment, and really happy with the setup. So we've just looked at those three images there on the computer. As I said during the overview of the photos, all incredibly sharp, all incredibly usable. What you have to be careful with is the minimal focus distance of this lens being 2.5 meters, so you're going to be quite far away from the subject, unlike something like a 135 or an 85mm where you can get fairly close. Obviously most animal and wildlife portrait stuff's going to be more like dogs, cats, that sort of thing. I don't have that luxury here of having that, so that's why I've used this lens at the zoo instead and gone there. You will obviously have to move around quite a lot as well, not having a zoom lens. So some people use the 7200, for example, because you can, again, if the creature's coming towards you as you're trying to get that portrait shot, you can move the lens in and out. So it is slightly restricting that factor, and the fact you've got that 2.5 meter minimal focus distance. But as you can see from the imagery, even though it's only a 2.8, not like a 1.2 or 1.4 or anything like that, you're still going to get a very sharp image, a very usable image shooting wide open at 2.8. All those photos there were taken at 2.8, and there's only one on there, which is the black Jaguar where one of the eyes, if you look closely, is ever so slightly out of focus because the way he's turned his head, one eye is further away than the other, so it's pin sharp on one, but on the other eye it is not 100% sharp. And that's things you've got to look for when you're shooting wide open, is if they do move slightly like that, so they're not the same plane as it were, you are going to have one eye out of focus. You can save that in post, so you can do a lot of editing to that singular eye to try and bring it back a little bit sharper. But yeah, so I love using this lens for that sort of job, just because, say, it is super sharp shooting wide open. You can be a little bit further away from me, especially when I'm taking photos of the animals I take photos of. You're not like a cat and dog where you're sat in there the same room as them and you can sort of entice them forward to you and stuff like that. You can't do that with the animals I take photos of, so it is actually a little bit of a benefit being slightly further back. But love this here, love this lens. I would love to try and see what I could get out of a 135 maybe. I think 85mm would be a little bit too short focus for the stuff that I do, but maybe I could borrow someone's cat or dog and use an 85mm and see what that looks like shooting wide open as well. But hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, comment and like. Let me know what you think of the photos I've shown you today. If you want to, as always, I'm more than happy for you guys to share your photo accounts in the comments down below. I enjoy looking at other people's photos, so by all means put them down there for me to have a look at, and I'll get on that as soon as I have a free moment to do so. If you like the video, subscribe and like the video, it helps out a lot, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, goodbye.